Do you know what SNAP is?
Be a little more specific.
The program SNAP.
The SNAP program.
Snap. Is it an app?
Okay, do you know what the SNAP program is?
No. Is that like a social media tool or something? I don't know.
No.
Food stamps?
Oh, now
Okay,
you do.
okay.
That, yes.
Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program or food stamps?
Yes.
Okay. For food stamps?
That's another name for food stamps. Okay.
SNAP stands for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, commonly known as food stamps. The program was renamed SNAP in 2008. The program's provision and funding have been a part of the Farm Bill since the late 1970s. Congress passed a new version of the Farm Bill, officially the Agricultural Act of 2014, and President Obama signed the bill into law on February 7th. The new bill guts the SNAP program by over $8 billion, billion with a B, over the next 10 years. Anti-hunger advocates claim that just under 1 million American households will see reductions in their monthly benefits. And this as food prices continue to rise. Retail food prices are expected to increase 3.5% in 2014, according to U.S. Department of Agriculture forecasts, representing the largest increase in 3 years as a result of droughts and other factors. Most people have heard of food stamps, so I am guessing you have too. And chances are that you have heard stories of people using their food stamps at casinos or buying extravagant food, cigarettes, alcohol, or even feed their dogs. But if you did not know what SNAP meant, where did you get your information about the program? How much did you really know? I'm betting that you don't know SNAP. Conservative talking points paint anyone who needs some assistance as lazy, taking advantage of good, hardworking citizens of our country. Remember these words from former presidential candidate Mitt Romney?
All right, there are 47% who are with him, who are dependent upon government, who believe that they're victims, who believe that government has a responsibility to care for them, who believe that they're entitled to health care, to food, to housing, to you name it.
Let me introduce you to Loretta, one of those so-called 47%.
Hello, I'm Loretta Henson, Audrey's grandmother. At 75, I worked for years and years and always paid into FICA. You know, my income is just my Social Security. And by the time I had paid my rent, utilities, and I am on medication, have to pay that every month. I read about how there are some food supplements for elderly citizens, and that's when I first discovered it and had to go over and apply for it.
But it's not just the politicians that think SNAP recipients are takers.
This is an entitlement society. Do you think people are better off on food stamps or are they better off with a job?
Among those, we can reasonably expect to work, particularly those in households that do have children, but that do not have an elderly or disabled adult. They do work. There is simply no evidence that SNAP discourages work. In fact, if you are an able-bodied adult without dependents, you cannot receive SNAP benefits for any more than 3 months in any 36-month period if you are not working. Contrary to what you might have heard, it is not easy to get SNAP benefits. Unless you are elderly or disabled, you must meet with a caseworker in person, and applicants are required to provide proof of income and expenses. They must also meet strict income limitation requirements and cannot have access to savings. And they must also prove U.S. citizenship. And what about all the stories of lavish spending on SNAP funds? First of all, the amount of the benefits can hardly be called lavish.
And you just, on $11 a week, there just is nothing you can buy except pasta, just fattening things. You really can't buy a lot of fruits, vegetables, and I'm getting as fat as a cow, and it's just really difficult. And my rent goes up, everything goes up, and then your supplements go down. It's just kind of bad. And that's all I have to say about that.
SNAP benefits cover. Let's see what SNAP will not cover.
One thing you have to understand, it, on this, if I buy anything like even saran wrap, anything, that you cannot buy it with your food card. It has to be edible. In other words, I can't buy any soap, anything like that. So that comes out, of my Social Security.
And just in case you were still wondering, no, you cannot use your SNAP benefits on cruise ships or in casinos. In fact, with audits and the new electronic benefit transfer, or EBT system, SNAP fraud is at an all-time low. Real fraud is the way the politicians are behaving. During the debate over the proposed cuts to SNAP, Senator Jeff Sessions, a Republican from Alabama, insinuated that families that received SNAP were not productive and could not be responsible for their families. Missouri Republican Representative Vicky Hartzler voted to reduce SNAP benefits, and yet the previous Farm Bill have provided over $800,000 in subsidies to her family farm between 1995 and 2012. It's sad that instead of rallying to Loretta's side to show support for her many years of gainful employment, we stigmatize people like Loretta for needing a little assistance. Loretta feels the stigma of needing SNAP benefits and is vilified by politicians as a taker. Seriously? In his 1964 Ballot or the Bullet speech, Malcolm X said, "I'm not going to sit at your table and watch you eat with nothing on my plate and call myself a diner. Sitting at the table doesn't make you a diner unless you eat something of what's on that plate. Being here in America doesn't make you an American." Unfortunately, not much has changed for the impoverished in our country. The United States ranks ahead of every other country in terms of gross domestic product, or GDP. Our politicians pretend that because we live in the land of opportunity, that somehow it's poor person's fault that they are poor. After all, the poor have a seat at the table, right? But only if they get lucky and find the table on their own. Now we cannot even send them the dinner invitation. Section 4018 of the Agriculture Act of 2014 specifically bans the use of any federal funds from being used to advertise SNAP benefits or how to enroll in the program, essentially keeping the dinner party a secret from those who need to eat the most. The Farm Bill won't come up for revision for another 5 years, but that doesn't mean we can't do anything. Support your local food bank. Offer a smile instead of judgment when you see someone using SNAP benefits. And use the power of your vote to elect politicians that will help us truly be a government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now you know SNAP.